Josie, you ready for this? Here we go. A lock and a charm. 3 times the charm to catch a locksmith who's up to his old tricks again. ABC 2 News investigator Josie Thurman busted him the first time, and here she is talking about catching him again. What's up with this guy?
Well, Jamie, even after a court order and a decision against him, victims say Joe Horton is still overcharging them. A typical locksmith job costs between $50 and $200, but it seems Horton has forced customers to pay hundreds more. So how do we know? Well, we caught him on tape.
If this guy looks familiar, it's because we chased him down outside a Baltimore County courtroom 6 months ago. Joe Horton is a locksmith, but the Attorney General is willing to call him a whole lot worse.
And this guy's clearly a knucklehead, so what he's doing has nothing, it doesn't insult me personally.
Attorney General Doug Gansler says what Horton's been doing is ripping off people who are locked down. Last spring, he was charged in a civil case brought by Gansler's office. Dozens of people testified against him, claiming Horton's business, Around the Clock Locksmith, overcharged them by hundreds, even thousands, to get into their cars and homes, holding their credit cards hostage until they agreed to pay.
Well, he's a shyster. He's nothing more, nothing less.
A so-called shyster who seemingly won't stop, even under orders from a judge. Since April, there's been a cease and desist order telling Horton to stop luring customers with lowball estimates or no estimates at all, only to jack up the price later.
Mr. Horton, we're with ABC 2. Can we ask you a couple of questions?
But that still doesn't stop him.
Producer, what's the price for this? $825?
Yes, ma'am.
Haven't you already been to court for overcharging customers like this?
Yes, ma'am.
With cameras rolling, Horton tried to take us for a ride, but we're not the only ones to get locked in his trap.
I kind of did a double take and was like, really?
Odenton's Julie Papandrea was shocked to see Horton's face flash across her TV last month. Weeks before, he'd unlocked her door, and after claiming he couldn't give an estimate, slammed her with an outrageous bill, $525. She ate the cost and swallowed her anger, knowing nothing about Horton's past until she saw him in an ABC2 promotion.
And I didn't know who to contact until I saw your news station. I hope no one else, calls him, or at least he stopped, because what he's doing isn't right.
There you go. We wanted to see what he was doing and find out for ourselves whether Horton was still involved in shady business despite that court order. So on a weekday afternoon, we asked our producer to lock his keys in the car and make a call.
Hi, I locked myself out of my car, and I was wondering if you could come out here and open it up for me.
This time, Horton did offer an estimate.
$150? Okay.
With the bottom line in mind, we waited and waited and waited. Nearly 3 hours later, Horton pulled up, taking our producer's license and credit card immediately. And before ever stepping out of his van, he was ready to charge nearly 6 times more than he quoted, a whopping $825.
Well, why would you charge him $825 after quoting him $150?
Well, that's not what he was quoted.
He was quoted that over the phone.
No, he was not. He
What
was
was he
quoted
quoted?
$825.
I was told $150 over the phone.
That's not what you were told.
Yes, it was, sir.
No, it was not.
Mr. Horton, haven't you learned your lesson?
But apparently not, according to Attorney General Gansler.
Got on here that your estimate is
We showed him our tape.
Why doesn't this guy go to jail? I mean, he's not going to listen to a court order.
Well, clearly he should go to jail, but that's a different issue than what's going on right now. Right now there's a pending civil case, and you have to go through the steps.
And after dozens of witnesses, that case is now back in Gansler's office for final judgment. A judge agreed with the AG's office, saying Horton exposed consumers to a gauntlet of unfair trade practices, claiming Horton lied even when it didn't matter. But this locksmith's behavior matters to us and our viewers. That's why we tried to get honest answers face to face, but even we were left spinning our wheels.
And you think $825 is a legitimate estimate?
If you don't want to pay for me to do the work, then take care.
We don't, but we want to
Okay.
know why you would charge someone $825. So still no answers, at least not for us. But 3 criminal cases against Horton are now pending in Anne Arundel County, where a separate cease and desist order was put in place over the summer. As for the state, Horton's legal team has a few more days to respond to the judge's recommendation. Then the Attorney General's office will make a final judgment and issue punishment. Doug Gansler tells me he thinks Marylanders who did business with Horton should get back every nickel they spent. Josie Thurman, ABC 2 News investigators.
Wow. All right, the Better Business Bureau testified against Horton in court. The agency has been tracking complaints on Horton, rating them as serious. Angie Barnett says this case is a reminder that every one of us should have a reputable locksmith picked out even before we need one, or else we could end up paying the price.
I think so much of this is drawn to the fact that these are emergency situations. When we are locked out of our home, locked out of our car, it is, we're just not thinking clearly, and we're getting the best response, the fastest response.
And Angie says once you've researched Locksmith, pick one out and put their number in your cell. That way you'll have someone you trust to turn to in case of the worst case scenario.